Hey everybody, welcome back into Pritch's Get Stitches. Happy to have you here. Happy you're with us. Glad you found us. Holly, it is freaking freezing here. How are you doing?
You know, I almost feel bad when I complain because everybody else in the world is living through a snow apocalypse or a blizzard or super cold. And the worst I have is that it's super windy today, like crazy windy, 20 to 30 mile an hour winds with localized gusts of up to 50 miles an hour.
Okay.
I've had some of those gusts. And then we're supposed to have scattered showers throughout the day. And I'm trying to see. Looks like we got some clouds coming in a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, it's 70s, 80s here. Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Sun is shining.
In Prosper, Texas right now, it's 20 degrees. It was 10 degrees this morning when I took pity on my children. You know me, I'm like,
Jace.
Walk to school. Actually, no. I walked with Jace, so I didn't make him walk by himself. I walked with him just to like, hey, I'm here with you, buddy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's you can't like get in the car line. You know, he's like, oh,
yeah,
can you just? I'm like, the car line's we're 7 houses away, and the car line is backed up to our house. Like,
I'm not to your house. Yeah.
I'm not going to go sit in that when we can just walk over there. So I did walk him to the crosswalk, but I took Ava, but I didn't take her all the way. I was like, well, Jace has to walk about the same distance, so I'll walk you to your crosswalk, and then you have to walk into school.
Took her to the stop sign.
That's it. And she was like, okay. And then Lexi, because Jared has off season, and so they make him be at school at like 7 something. And so Lexi takes the bus in the morning, and so I took her over to the bus stop, and we sat in the car and waited for the bus to arrive.
Where's her bus stop at?
Right by the swimming pool. That you lived at our house and don't know where the swimming pool is.
I have no clue where this swimming pool is. Is it in the park?
Yeah, it's like the playground, and then back behind there's a building with the pool and all that stuff.
I mean, I guess I feel like I know what the building is, but I guess I didn't realize there was a pool. That tells you how.
Yeah, you can like see it from my house.
Not very observant. I've even driven on that side of the park. Can you see it from the road?
Yeah,
like if
you can see it from my house. Telling you.
I don't know.
Anyways,
I guess I've just never paid attention. I have no clue where it is. I've never seen it. I mean, I know where it is in my mind because you just told me, but otherwise I would have had no clue.
Yeah, so it's 20 degrees right now. It's 10 degrees this morning. And, you know, we're in frozen protocol, you know, pipes, you know, keep some pipes
Water's
moving,
running.
yeah, water running. And we actually did, the laundry room froze up. Anyways, we had the pipes going, but the cold water still froze up.
That happened last year too, didn't it? Laundry room froze when I was there, I think.
Yep. So it's on the outside wall, so
yeah,
freezes up
even
every
with
time.
The water running?
Yeah, so we dripped it like halfway. So it's one of those, you know, it's got a lever, you know, handle instead of like 2. Right. So we dripped, we put it like halfway, and we drip it halfway thinking like you got some cold and some hot, but apparently it's not.
Didn't work out.
It's just cold. I mean, just hot. So the hot was fine, the cold wasn't. Anyways, it thawed up the first day because it got up warm enough. So we have it running now. We've now just dripped the cold line, but I mean, straight up, like, it's cold, you know, and even some school districts, they're like, oh, we're watching the conditions of the road, blah, blah. But I'm like, guys, it's clear and sunny. Like, the road conditions are not going to change. Like, it snowed here a little bit. Like, I mean, not even enough to, like, you couldn't even make what do you call it? Like a snowball. No, I don't even know what they're called. I've been in Texas my whole life. You couldn't even make a snowball and throw it. Yeah, so they're like, well, we're watching the conditions of the road, and we make, you know, delay school, blah, blah, blah. Like, the road conditions don't change if there's no precipitation. Like, there has to be something.
I feel like Texas, a lot of people in Texas don't understand that, though. They just think that when it gets cold, there's going to be snow.
Yeah. I mean, we have a little PTSD from the past couple years, like 22 and 23. I mean, we had some, you know, pretty rough ice.
Truth. I mean, I guess they should know that, though. I would think they should know that based on the fact that they've lived there forever, but I bet it is that, like, you guys had some crazy weather. Even last year when I was there in January, the week that I was supposed to go to Florida, I had bought Death Cab for Cutie tickets for my friend Aaron and I. We were going to go down. And the week I was supposed to fly, everything iced over. All the flights were canceled. Had to sell the tickets. Didn't get to go to Florida. So, yeah. I guess there's been some ice. So I had to get out of there. Couldn't do it again.
Yeah.
I had to get out of there. I just couldn't do it. Like Utah, Texas. Like, no, I can't ever do cold weather ever again in my life.
So
I don't regret the move.
The thing about Texas that's so crazy is it was 70 degrees the day before it froze.
Oh, right.
So it was 70. And I was like, Jared, because he was going to clean my car. He's like, I'll do it Saturday. So I send him a screenshot of the weather. I'm like, I mean, today's probably the best day. He's like, well, is it warm outside? Because he was in school still. I was like, yeah, it's 70, bro. And he's like, oh, I'll wait till Saturday. I'm like, you ain't very bright, kid. Come on, man. 70 today, and it's going to be,
he didn't want to do it. Did he do it
29. Saturday? Of course not. I'm like, hey, man. And actually, Saturday wasn't too bad because Saturday.
What he was doing.
Anyway, so he's like, I was like, hey, man, you going to wash my car? He's like, no, it's supposed to rain, which, of course, it didn't. It snowed a little bit. But anyways, so Colleen ISD actually delayed school today 2 hours. And I don't know why. I don't know if I didn't really ask, but maybe their roads are a little worse than ours. I don't know. But I was thinking about
snow. Dad sent me pictures. They had a little bit of snow. And you know how it is, though. You get even a dusting.
Yeah, that's what we had was a dusting. Usually the snow here is ice. It's like ice pellets. It's not really snow, or it turns to ice pretty quick, but it was basically a dust. That's what it was. And but some people are making some arguments up here as to why there should be a delay. And I thought, you know what, that's a pretty legit argument. And most of it had to do with just kind of the safety of kids that are it's funny because people from the north, like I've seen some people post a few things, some friends of mine, like, oh, Texas, we don't feel bad for you. And they're like in Ohio or Utah or things like that.
Right.
But here's the thing, like you can't go to the store here and buy winter clothes.
Right.
Like we can't, so when we went to Utah, a few years back over Christmas, we had to wait till we got to Utah to buy snow outfits because you can't buy them here. You can't buy, like the warmest thing you can buy is like a fleece, jacket. And so I understand because there's kids that have to walk to school no matter what, like their parents, or, they don't get a delay. They have to be to work and things like that. And they have to walk to school and they're just not, we're just not equipped. Like we already know our electrical grid is not equipped for it.
Right.
But we as people, like we don't have winter clothes. Like we don't have big coats, Jace, I take Jace. You remember like it was straight up like, the Christmas Story. Like Jace is putting his, his coat on. He's got like 5 layers. He's like trying to put his arms down. He can't put his arms down. And I mean, that's just how it is because you just have to layer up. And even when I went to Idaho, for school, like I didn't have the clothing that I needed. And so I was straight up, layering like 5-6 shirts and it would still just cut right through me. So I understand that, for me, I was like, just get to school, like you're fine. But I could understand like some of the parents just looking out for other kids that may not have, somebody to take them to school. They've got to walk a mile or something like that. Right. And it's, below 10 degrees and all they have is a windbreaker. You know what I mean? Because that's realistically kind of all you need. And it's unfortunate because we just cannot get what we need to stay warm for a long period of time outside. If that,
right.
Like, even
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, even when we had like the ice apocalypse here, a couple years ago, and the kids like wanted to go outside and play, we could only go outside for like a short time, and it was literally 0 degrees. Like the high was 0, which rarely happens. But they could only go outside for so long because like we're just trying to like figure it out. Like we got, they're putting, Walmart bags on their feet before they put them in their boots because we just don't like. Literally, we have no way to like make sure their feet stay dry, and so they can only stay outside for a certain time before they had to come in. Anyway.
Well, I only had that winter gear down there because I moved from Utah. If I wouldn't have moved from Utah, I wouldn't have had it.
Yeah.
And then I gave most of that I think I must have given most of that to Kimber. And then she took a lot of the stuff like the snow boots and the coat and all of that. She took a lot of that up to Maddie because Maddie wears the same, or Maddie's foot might be smaller, but she was like, with socks and everything else that they have to layer on, those boots will fit her. So she'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, but now I have to fly out to Utah in February and I'm kind of regretting I'm not going to have any snow boots. So I messaged our cousin Susie and I just told her like, hey, probably going to have to borrow some snow boots on the day that I'm there, the 2 days. So not excited about that trip.
Yeah, it does like stink.
My corporate team decided to go out and I'm like, why would you go in February? It's the coldest month. Yeah. Like, whatever. I guess I'm getting paid to go there.
Aren't they already out there though?
No, my corporate team, they fly out.
Where are they out of?
They're based out of California.
Oh, okay.
So they're flying out They're flying out. I think they're getting there morning of the 5th. They're out on Dugway on the 6th, or the night of the 5th. They're on Dugway the 6th, I think is what it is, and then travel back that night. But coming from Hawaii, I can't do that. So I leave the night of the 4th. So Sunday night at like 10:30 here. I get there at 7:30 on the 5th. So I'm going to be there all day on the 5th. And then I have to drive to Dugway on the 6th. And then my flight's out at like 6:30 on the 7th. Because you just can't find, I tried to find a late flight out. But I think the latest flight out was like at 4. And I just wouldn't have made it with our late meeting. We have a meeting at like, I think at like 1 or 2 o'clock. So I wouldn't have made it. So I had to jump on the late flight. So not super happy about it, but I have a coat that I saved because when I was, moving over here, Elizabeth.
You got like 20 sweatshirts you can take.
I
with
do.
You.
I am going to leverage those sweatshirts. And Elizabeth was like, you need one coat. So I kept the coat, 20 sweatshirts. And then I was going to dress up, but then I remember like my corporate team never dresses up when they visit because they know Dugway's super casual.
Right.
So I was like, I'll just wear jeans and whatever shoes I have. So.
Well, good luck with that. We've got our 4 days of cold right now.
I'm not looking forward to it. It's been snowing like crazy there too. So I'm sure it will continue.
Yeah. There's been a lot of snow in Utah that I saw. So yeah, have fun with that. We're good. I am good. I have had enough cold 4 days in. So yeah. So anyways, I can understand the delays, and I can understand why people are like, I don't feel bad, but you guys are more prepared than we are for cold. It's like,
right.
Right. It is what it is.
They got the plows, they got everything else, and Texas has none of that.
Yeah.
So it's like when we had it last year, we were literally like iced in for like 5 days. I couldn't leave because the ice, it was before I had Charlie, so I only had Goldie Honda, and literally my car was frozen solid.
Yep.
Like iced in. So even if I wanted to leave, I couldn't.
Yeah. So that was last year. And the year before that, we had I think it was like 10 days,
yeah,
almost 2 weeks of just rolling blackouts. And it was rough, but we made it.
Sitting at home, staring at each other. What is that from where they're sitting, staring? Oh, back. I was thinking Little Mermaid. I was talking about I don't know.
No.
Anyway,
okay.
That's where my brain went.
So, Holly, you eating anything today?
Because
you texted me yesterday that you found some stuff.
I did find some stuff, and it's all pretty good stuff. So I've been trying to do better.
Yeah.
So I decided. So here's the problem. So I went grocery shopping yesterday. I caught the bus in the morning when I finally got myself out of bed. Went to the grocery store, and so first, Hawaii doesn't have like all of the stores don't have plastic bags. You have to bring your own bags. So luckily I remembered the bags. I had to do a return. So
so it's like Aldi, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately. So don't even ask how many times I've gone and had to buy bags because I've forgotten bags. Luckily, the times I've gone for the most part, I've either been with my landlord or with Nikki and they've had extra bags and let me use them.
So do you have to put a quarter into the buggy to get it out?
No, none of that
and
craziness.
Then you ain't living real life then.
But Target seems to be, so they have like a Target, a Whole Foods, a Foodland. They have a few different ones, but Target, I just hit that because it's right off the bus stop. Brought my bags. The problem is though, when you take the bus, you're not like, I'm not thinking that as I'm shopping and getting stuff. I'm just getting stuff I need. And so I had 3 bags because one of the bags I took with me I had to do a return. So I returned the stuff, had that bag, had 2 other bags, but I got so much stuff I had to buy another bag, and then I had to carry that. Like, you don't think about it. And it seemed like the longest walk in the history of the world because it was like some heavy stuff, but it was just a lot of stuff to carry it to the bus stop. So anyway, as I was shopping and thinking, I need to get, like, I really went in for like 3 things and walked out with a $350 bill.
That's like Costco. Yeah, but you probably got like 7. You probably got like 7 things.
Yeah, I only got a few things. I mean, I got quite a bit, but the good thing is Target has a lot. And I don't know if it's every Target because I normally wouldn't shop at a Target, but it seems to be just about every like grocery store here has a lot of alternative diet foods. And when I was kind of talking to Nikki about it, she was like, well, Kailua they have that a lot in my town because that's kind of the way the population is. They eat a lot of vegans and alternate lifestyles. So, I found a bunch of different stuff. The Lara bars. I found a lemon one that I think is delicious.
Yeah,
and
those
then
are
they
good.
had like the
I'll get
Good and
those.
Gathers. Yeah, they're the Good and Gather, which is like the Target, I guess the Target brand maybe. I don't know, of the healthy stuff. And then I found the siete chips, the cassava root, quote unquote, tortilla chips, but they have churro ones. Did you try have you had the churro ones?
I haven't had the churro chips, but
Ooh,
we had
Val's
the
gonna love those.
we had the hint of lime ones. Those were pretty good.
I
At
did
one
see
time.
those,
We had
but
those.
and of course Costco, you get that giant bag for what, $8? I got like a tiny.
$5.99.
I paid like $6.50 for the tiny bag. Of
No,
both.
so that's what happened. I went to Kroger and they had them or wherever it was. And I was like, oh, we need chips. We're having tacos, whatever we had for dinner that night. You would come over and I bought the small bag of chips and it was like $7 for the small bag. And I'm like, oh, like I get these other ones for $5.99 and then sometimes they're on sale for $3.99 at Costco.
Well, and the problem is the Costco here doesn't freaking have them. So I just have to go to where I can get them. And even the Down to Earth store, they have like an organic or vegan, I don't know, some sort of alternate store that sells like healthy stuff. And even they have only the small bags and they're expensive.
So you mentioned the Siete. You mentioned to me the Siete cookies. They have the churro cookies, and so I had bought those. We were supposed to try those one of our last shows, and
I tried them yesterday, and they were delicious.
yeah, they're so good. You never tried them. I ate them all, and then we never had a show because of holidays and stuff.
I moved,
and you moved, and so I just ate them, and they were delicious. So, what are we eating? We're not really eating anything today. However, we do like some Siete. I like the Siete stuff. The ones that Val didn't like from them were the hard taco shells. I think it was the hard taco shell. She didn't like those, but I get their almond flour.
Yeah.
Tortillas and just heat and serve. And then they also have cassava. So
yeah, I have those, but I haven't. I'm gonna be honest. Like I've bought some stuff, but I think I've only cooked like maybe twice since being here, just because like I haven't gotten my stuff together yet. But today,
you gotta get back on it.
Windy and working.
So we went to just real quick side story before we get into what are you not eating, because I know you're not eating what we're going to talk about next. So Jared has a girlfriend, and we went to their house. We went to their house on Sunday, and for dinner. And it's very difficult when you're on a diet like we are on to eat other places. So I
eat anywhere else.
Eat anywhere, and so even then, like I went with my buddies to lunch one day, and they all ate, and I didn't, you know what I mean? And I'm just like,
right.
It sucks. But anyway, so we go over there, we have roast and, that's fine. And carrots is fine. But then she had potatoes and she's like, does anybody have a diet or a dairy allergy? And we're like, no, we're good. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say I have a dairy allergy. I'm
in theory,
supposed to be dairy free, I guess, maybe. But I haven't had dairy like since probably, cause I didn't drink any eggnog. So I haven't had dairy probably since,
we had ice cream one night.
I don't remember that. Did we? Oh yeah, we did have ice cream. I had ice cream at some point.
One night, yeah.
I had Dr. Pepper ice cream. Yeah. Since probably Thanksgiving though. Anyway, so she's like, there's a ton of sour cream in these potatoes. And I'm like, all right. So I eat the potatoes and no joke. I mean,
you had to go.
You
had to go.
I had to go like immediately after eating dinner. And so I stand up. And so we're sitting in the, the kitchen over here. And it leads into the dining room here. We're all in this dining room kitchen thing. And then there's a little hallway to the front room. So it's all like dining room, kitchen.
Right there.
Dining room, kitchen, hallway.
Yeah.
And so I get up and I'm like kind of just blaming it on my back because my back was hurting. So I stood up, but my stomach was just hurting. And I'm like, dude, I got to go. And so I'm like, well, I'll just go to the bathroom. So I go down this hallway that is right there. I mean, I would think it was the pantry. Like I literally thought it was the pantry to the kitchen. That's how it was.
That's super close.
Yeah. And I walk straight in like to this hallway and I'm like, there's the pantry. Nope, that's the bathroom. That's the downstairs half bath that I have to blow up. And it's right here. And I'm like, oh man, hopefully they don't hear this, but
I hope you brought your one drop.
I did not. I didn't even think about it. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom.
Anywhere I pack that one drop.
So I'm just standing there and my stomach, it's not like rumbling or rolling or anything. It just hurts. And I'm like, I have to go. I'm like, yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it right here. I cannot physically get it going to that bathroom. Like I cannot do it. I could, like, I was going to go. As soon as I sat down, I was going to go to the bathroom because it hurt. But I'm like, I'm right here. I just met these people, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Jared's girlfriend. And so anyways, I'm just standing, and Jared's like, I'll take you to the other bathroom. So I'm like, okay, good. Like, there's another bathroom down here. I follow Jared, and he's like, yeah, it's just right around the corner. We'll go around the corner. Well, there's nothing around the corner. That's the end of the downstairs. And he's like, oh, it's upstairs. I'm like, oh no. Like, I don't. I'd
have been like, I need to go use your upstairs bathroom.
Anyway, so Val's like, here, I'm going to go in the bathroom here. Like, I'm just going to go in here. And, then you have an excuse to go upstairs. Cause I'm like, that's just so weird to me. Like, if I knew them, that's one thing. Like, I just met these people. Right. I'm like, so anyways, and that's when I texted you, like, yeah, their bathroom is like right here and I got to go.
So did it work out then? Val ran in there so you could go upstairs?
No, I just went there. You did
it.
I did. I'm standing there talking, and I'm like talking to them, and then everybody's talking, and I'm like, dude, I just gotta go. So I just went in, and I sat there, and I'm like, just be quiet. Just be quiet. It's a little TMI, but I'm just like, just come out quietly, please. And
see, this reminds me of
all I could think. All I could think was freaking Dumb and Dumber, like freaking Lloyd sitting on the freaking toilet. Like, that's all I could think about. And I'm like, dude, kept flushing, like I probably quadruple flushed that thing. But that's why I gotta keep on this thing, man. Like, it just tore me up. Like, it never tore me up before.
Yeah. Yes, it did. Thanksgiving it tore you up.
Well, I mean, but that was fine. I was at like my in-laws' house. Like, I'll tear up their bathroom. I don't care.
You got to take the one drop and you let everybody know beforehand. I may have to blow up your bathroom.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
Oh, that's the worst.
Oh. Anyway,
it's like when, I polled some of my male friends, and you'll have to tell me if you do this or not. And I'm like, because it was like, I went out to Dugway one time, and there was a woman in the stall when I went into the bathroom. And this is a horrible thing that I'm going to share that I did this because this is so mean.
Oh boy.
But it made me laugh. It's just mean because I didn't do anything mean other than I knew she had to go. Like, I knew because she peed and then she just sat there forever as I was peeing. And it's like, oh, she's got to go, but she's not going to go if there's another woman in. Because women, like, we're not going to go into a public restroom and blow it up if there's anybody else in there. Like, we could be mid poop. Somebody walks in, we suck that poop right back in and sit and wait. Like, we'll be sweating.
I really want to put that on the poll. As a woman,
you should. And
as a woman, do you poop in the stall if there's other women in there?
Anyway, I just sat there forever because I knew she was holding it. So I just waited in that bathroom. Oh my gosh. Just because, and then I finally left. But I pulled my male friends and they were like, why would you wait? You just go in and poop like everybody poops. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's just this thing. Like, I mean, it's a rarity. The only place that I see this not happening sometimes more than any other place is at an airport, because most times people are like in a hurry. They've got to catch their flight. They know they're stuck on a plane for hours if they don't do it there, and they'd rather poop in there than poop in the airplane bathroom and then come off and somebody else goes in and they know that they've pooped, Yeah. So airport, that's the only place that's different. But anywhere else you go,
I don't know. Like, I don't like to
poop back in.
I don't like to poop, when other people are sitting in the stall next to me. But I just flush the toilet. I just keep the toilet flushing. Not that I care about the smell or anything, because I'm like, whatever, I'm out. But just as a courtesy, so they don't have to hear it. So I just keep flushing the toilet, flush, and it just keeps dropping out, and I'm just going down as it goes. Because usually it's like, it's always the Walmart toilet. I'm always at Walmart for some reason, and it's not like our toilets where they have to fill back up, and then it's just a constant flow of water. Which I'm like, why don't we have those in our because
they would not be energy efficient. I'm assuming, or water efficient.
Doesn't matter, man.
I'll tell you though, like. Going. Back in the day, this is how extreme it used to be. Like, if I had to poop in somewhere public and like there was no, like if I was on a work shift or something and there was no way around it, I would sit on the stall and then lift my feet because I didn't want them to see my shoes, because then they could determine who was in the bathroom pooping.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody else went to that extreme, but it used to just, now I'm like, whatever. But no, I take it back. I'm not like, whatever. I won't poop in public. If I have to poop in public, I'm finding a bathroom that has a single stall, or I could lock it. I'm using my one drop, and it may not be so bad actually now. Like, even when I go to the airport, I have my one drop in my backpack. and I put that in there before I go, just in case.
Well, it's like kids listen to the song, everybody poops. But Jared, I don't think my boys will poop at school. I don't know about the girls, but I know for sure.
All I know is
first thing Jared and Jace do when they get home, they poop when they get home. Yeah, Chad didn't poop at school.
Chad didn't poop at school, and he had to go
or at home.
What apparently. Was it? Castor oil? Metamucil, something.
I don't remember that.
So sorry, tell your boys that.
Blasted you out on that one, Chad. The guy's not even here to defend himself. Sheesh.
I'm just saying that was a true story. It really happened. Story. So you need to make sure your boys and girls know that.
I wonder how much it was because of the Metamucil and how much it was because of the dishes were due. Like, hey, we got to do dishes. Oh, I got to take my Metamucil. Oh, I got to get on the toilet for 2 hours.
He didn't even take that Metamucil before. He just ran every time. He didn't even have time to take that Metamucil. He just ate and ran to the bathroom.
Dishes? What? So Jared,
how many times does he owe us for doing his dishes, man? Chad, you owe us.
Jared, yeah, he does. Jared, the other day, I just laughed. We're at the parents' house, his girlfriend's parents' house for dinner. And that kid's in there doing dishes like it's like he knows what he's doing.
Chad, like he's
exactly,
Chad.
Exactly. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And even her mom was like, Jared, didn't you get grounded for not doing your dishes? And I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, it is, because he didn't do his dishes, just kept piling up like 3 days. And we're like, all right, you're grounded. You're not going out. Anyways, I just laughed.
Just trying to impress. He was pulling a Chad Jr.
Yeah, he was. Hilarious. All right, so Holly, we talked about the official meat of Hawaii last week. And you're going to get us some facts on that. So I know for sure, to go from what are we eating to what are we not eating. I know for sure you're not eating that.
I am not. So we are going to talk about the official.
You put you put every fact that you could find on there.
Hey, I got a little bit because, I don't know anything about this, to be quite honest, other than I actually thought it was invented during World War II, and it was not. So okay. In case you haven't picked up on it, listeners, we are talking about Spam, which is, like Scott said, the official, quote unquote, meat of Hawaii. The official meat. So it's funny because I was riding the bus yesterday and I happened to look up and see there was an advertisement. I snapped a picture and sent it to you. And it's about Spam. And it says go vegan, and then under or maybe above it or whatever. And it says that Spam stands for Save Pigs, Avoid Meat. Yeah. So,
I'm sure that's what Spam stands for.
Right. So anyway, fun fact. So Spam was developed during the Great Depression. And the name is a portmanteau. Remember that word?
What we talked about. Portmanteau.
Yep. Of spiced ham. And legend says that when his product of spiced ham fell behind, Jay Hormel had a naming contest for the product. And the winner received $100, which is equivalent to $2,000 today, and came up with the word Spam. And some say it means shoulders of pork and ham. Some say it means something posing as meat. But the majority, and I couldn't find anything that said this is what it actually means, but the majority of, people saying what it means, I guess, because I don't want to call it a fact necessarily, say that it is spiced ham, and that it's just a shortened version of it. So Spam has 6 ingredients, which is pork with ham, salt, water, potato starch, salt, and sodium nitrate. Which makes me wonder, how do they call it vegan if it's pork with ham?
I don't think that was a Spam commercial, like a Spam advertisisement.
It was. Oh, maybe it wasn't. You're right.
They're saying to save the pigs.
They're saying save the pigs. You're right. I didn't think about it. I was just on the bus and I hadn't had coffee. All right. It was early.
Save the pigs. Avoid meat.
Yeah, you're right.
So they're telling you to go vegan. Don't eat Spam.
Truth. All right. Now I got it. So it definitely does not mean that.
Well, does it fit? Does it fit into our diet? Could we have Spam on our diet? I don't see why not.
I would say you could. Potato starch, yeah.
Disgusting,
it looks like we could, but no thanks.
Some of that with a side of Vienna sausages.
Hot dogs. During World War II, more than 100 million cans were shipped to U.S. troops, as well as devastated parts of Europe and Russia, leading the former Soviet premier to say that without Spam, we wouldn't have been able to feed our army. So it literally, they do say that it saved the war, basically. Let's see. Hawaii has the biggest Spam market worldwide, with 7 million cans consumed a year, or 5 cans per person.
Once every couple months, I guess.
Yeah, and you can find it everywhere in Hawaii, from McDonald's to high-end restaurants. And there's even a Spam, quote unquote, like sushi, I guess you could think of it as, and it's called Spam musubi. It's a piece of Spam seasoned with shoyu sugar sauce, and placed on a block of white rice and wrapped with nori. And in South Korea, Spam is considered a luxury item, and Spam gift boxes are given during the lunar year. Oh. And Korea also has an iconic Spam dish called something.
Budae
jjigae. I don't know how to pronounce it. They call it, quote unquote, military stew. And that incorporates Spam, American cheese, and franks and beans with noodles, vegetables, rice cakes, and other Korean staples. So that just sounds terrible.
I think we got to try that.
We might have to.
Let's do it. I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna make.
Luckily, we can't
military
have cheese.
stew.
We can't have cheese. We can't have franks or beans.
Beans
or
and
noodles.
franks, aisle 5. Franks and beans, aisle 7. Remember that commercial?
No.
You don't remember that commercial? I think it was Seinfeld.
No.
Like franks and beans, aisle 5. Beans and franks, aisle 7. Anyways.
Don't remember that. And then the Philippines has an all Spam restaurant called Spam Jam. And the menu has various items such as the Spam burger, Spam spaghetti, Spam baked macaroni, and Spam Caesar salad. So there you go. Some fun facts about Spam.
All right. So another poll. Do you remember the Franks and Beans, and Beans and Franks commercial? So put that on the poll as well. I bet you some people do. That's just like childhood.
I just don't have, there's very few commercials I remember. All I remember is where's the beef?
Love commercials.
I mean, I'll remember them if I see them.
The other white meat.
Yeah, I'll see it. Like if I see them on, I'm like, oh, I remember that one. But like the ones off the top of my head, where's the beef? And then the guy running down the streets of New York, and the paper's blowing. It's like empty. He sees a guy. He runs up to the guy from behind. He says, oh, and as he's running through the streets, he's yelling, where is everybody? Where did everybody go? And he runs up to the guy, taps him on the shoulder and says, where is everybody? And the guy turns around and he says, he's holding a burger or whatever. And he says, Arby's, 99 cents roast beef or whatever it was. So those are like literally the two commercials.
Yo, you remember one more at least.
Do I? I mean, if you were to say
Budweiser
it, yes.
frogs.
Oh yeah, those ones, and then the Corona.
Oh, we had to talk about that. The Corona, the oldest,
Christmas
longest,
one.
Yeah, the longest running Corona commercial. I'm like, Jared, look at this commercial. It's so
1990.
old. Just
So there you go.
Oh, good old Spam Caesar salad, Spam baked macaroni.
How I feel about that.
Gross.
So speaking of polls, did we have a poll?
Yeah, we had a couple polls. I'm gonna put them on. Pull them up here. First poll that we had was, has Chad Pritchard, our brother Chad.
Boy, we are just calling him out, aren't we?
Has Chad Pritchard ever written a check from his personal account? I don't believe that Chad has never written a check. Now, we've had some discussions offline about this.
I said no. I voted no. I think I voted no.
So kind of split. I mean, there's only, obviously you'd have to know Chad in order to vote on this poll.
Right.
Most people don't. A lot of people don't know Chad that maybe listen, or maybe they do. Or not that listen. Like the poll has nothing to do with whether you listen. It's Facebook. Right. It's Facebook friends. And I had some comments. Chad said yes, but not for years. So he said that's what accountant's for. But I had to rephrase the question. Initially, I said, has Chad ever written a check? And then I had to rephrase it. Yes, he did say yes.
Because he had said yes. And then I said to you, oh, I know he's written business checks, but I don't think he's ever written a personal check.
So then I had to put that I had to rephrase the question based on our last poll, which was, have you written a personal check? When was the last time he did? And Chad said he never had. And then he said, that's why I'm married.
Yeah. So
and we had discussion.
I'm pretty sure he never had a checkbook before.
And you said because mom didn't trust him to write checks. You said mom didn't trust him.
I feel like it was mom. I think she would have been like, they would have been like, oh, do you want a checkbook? And mom was like, no. Like back in the day.
Well, yeah, I could buy.
Listen,
I could write you a check.
Right.
Buy it right now.
Like, I feel like one of my exes, whose name I won't name, I feel like he had no concept, and he would have been the type that would have not realized that in order to write a check, you have to have money behind it. And I feel like that's Chad. Chad would have just been like, check, check, check.
All right, we gotta
know. Like, he's smart. I love him, but I just feel like, check. That's what would have happened.
The mom wouldn't let him have a checkbook.
Had to cover it. Yeah. So I feel like mom didn't let him have a checkbook. Then he got married, and Kimber did the checks and the money.
So it must have not, because I mean, he's got 6 votes. You got Dad said no. He's never written a personal check. Heidi said no. You said no. Chad said no. Joshua's wife Amanda said no.
Who we needed to hear from? No. I was gonna say we needed to hear from Kimber. So Kimber said no. I trust it. And you were the only one who said yes.
No, me and Maddie, his daughter, said yes. But I did change the question.
I was gonna say, did she answer prior?
Kristen, Sean, me, poor Sean. Sorry, Sean. Sorry for your loss, my friend.
Loser. That's what happened when you change teams and cheer for the Cowgirls. You should have stuck with the Niners.
Sean and Steve, they came out to the game, the whole deal. They went to the game and everything.
I bet you they paid a lot of money for those tickets.
Oh, yeah, they did. He told me. And my gosh, did they get boat raced? I mean,
they just got killed.
It was
them and the Eagles. It was like watching. I don't remember who said it. Ava, I think she said this is like watching the Cowboys Packers game when we watched who played yesterday, Eagles and the Bucks. That was a surprise too.
I knew the Bucks. I said it. I said I know the Bucks are going to go in there and they're just going to smoke them, and they sure did.
Worried?
And the Niners are going to smoke the Packers. I mean, it's inevitable. Hopefully this ages well. But man, Cowboys just got I don't even think they showed up. Anyways, Mr. Malt. Oh, Mr. Malt.
We have some. Yes. Sean has some. Scott has some Niners gear that I'm sure he could lend you.
Yeah, I'm not going to lend him Niners gear. He will burn it. He does not like.
Probably has Niners gear hidden. He's a secret closet Niners fan still.
Too. Like, I would rather because Jared was like, I want the Cowboys to win because I want them to play the Niners, and then I want the Niners to just smoke them,
kill them.
And I was like, bro, listen. I want the Cowboys to lose so that we can play the Packers and smoke the Packers and then be like, dude, we smoked the team that smoked you. And not only that, we already smoked you this year, 42-10.
And the Eagles.
So, right. And I'm like, I just don't want to have I would rather lose to the Packers than lose to the Cowboys. And so I would much rather in the playoffs not have to play the Cowboys, even though it's a good game, it's a good rivalry. If we lose to the Cowboys, it's the worst. That's bad news. And I don't think we will, but I think we'll go out there and handle business this week.
Well, all I know is I hope it's a lot different than last year's Green Bay Niners game, because was that last year or the year before? Oh,
in the cold?
We won in the cold, but when the Niners it was like fourth quarter, and there was like, I can't handle that. Like we were losing.
We had Jimmy G.
We were losing. No, I get it. I'm just saying, I don't want a game like that. I need a game where we come out and just kill them from the start. I can't handle those ones that are too close. It just gives me a heart attack. I just can't do it. It's like too much for my blood pressure.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, sidetracked.
Back to the polls.
Went from Chad writing a check to the Cowboys game.
Sean, it's your fault.
Oh yeah, sorry, Sean. Sorry.
Not sorry.
I send him my condolences. I said, as a fan, I'm sorry you as a fan have to deal with that. But I'm glad the Cowboys lost. But I'm sorry you have to feel that.
You're better than I am. I just made a mean comment on his picture.
Okay, so the second one is: have you ever texted Cha-Cha? Three answers: yes, no, or what are you talking about? It should have just been yes, and what are you talking about? Because nobody answered no. And only 3 people answered yes. We had Joshua, our nephew.
But Joshua thought you were talking about the dog. So he was all like, yeah, Cha-Cha. And I used to talk all the time.
I text Cha-Cha all the time.
All the time.
I still text her. She's dead.
Cha-Cha.
All right, so Joshua Miller.
I just think about how we used to say that, and it cracks me up. Cha-Cha.
My friend Cammie and Corey. Who told us about.
It had to be Corey.
Corey told us about Cha-Cha. She said she texted Cha-Cha all the time. Never even heard of Cha-Cha. And then what are you talking about? It's everybody else. There's 10 votes there. Most people have never heard of Cha-Cha. So just a few of the regulars that answer our questions. But yeah, have you ever texted Cha-Cha?
I need Joshua to fill us in some more on this Cha-Cha.
Yeah. So Joshua.
We're not talking about your dog, Cha-Cha.
So Heidi. Because Joshua, I don't know if Joshua listens or not. So Heidi, tell your son to let us know about texting Cha-Cha.
Cha-Cha. Unless you had a girlfriend named Cha-Cha.
Not Cha-Cha the dog. That dog was mean too, man. That dog would chase us around. We'd go up and visit up there in
I don't even remember Cha Cha. All I remember is Joshua saying Cha Cha. Just the way he would say it. It was so southern twang.
Mean dog. Anyways, so Holly, you're in Hawaii.
Yeah.
You're enjoying the life. And you texted me the other day. You said, "Hey, Scott, I'm thinking about, getting your car over there." You said, "I'm thinking about bringing the car here just to sell it." I mean, this is new because last time we spoke, you were gonna have your car and drive around the island, but you can sell it there for a lot more than you can sell it here. So you're like, "I'm just gonna ship my car over there. I'm gonna sell it and use alternative modes of transportation."
Right.
And that is
so the bus. Okay. I figured out finally. It only took me 3 or 4 days.
You've been there 2 weeks, so it's not like you've been there it took me 7 months to figure this out.
But, the first day we get on the bus. Okay, so first of all, I've ridden the bus in Utah. Or not even the bus in Utah. I've never ridden the bus, I don't think. I've ridden the train. So Utah used to have the train, the front runner. And then they had the tracks. So I've ridden, tracks was like in town. And then they had the train, which ran from like Provo to Ogden. So I've taken those. And I think I've taken the train to downtown Dallas way back in the day. But you can buy your tickets online, right? For either one. So I'm standing at the bus stop. Whatever day I decided to go, it was very last minute decision to jump on the bus. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to jump on the bus and take the bus into town and go get something to eat because, again, I don't want to cook and I didn't have my kitchen unpacked or anything. So I'm sitting there. There's a girl at the bus stop. My phone's, and this was not a well thought out plan because my phone was at like 20%. And I just jumped on the bus anyway. So when I get on, I'm like talking to the bus driver because you're supposed to scan your card. And I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to create an account so I can pay online." He's like, "Oh, you can't pay online. You have to have a physical card." I'm like, "What? You can't buy a ticket online?" He's like, "No, you have to have the actual physical card." I'm like, "Well, where do I get one of those?" Or I said, "Can I buy one here?" And he's like, "No, you can't buy it." I'm like, "Well, where do I get it?" And he's like, "You have to get it in town." So I'm like, "So if I don't have a card, how do I get a card? If I can't get into town, how do I? Right. So he's like, "You know what? You two are the only one on the route." Yeah. He's like, "You two are the only route. Jump on." So he lets me on. He doesn't charge me or her for the bus fare. So we get on the bus, we ride it into town, we jump off. So as I'm getting off the bus now, it's probably 6:00. I said, "Hey, so what time does the last bus run?" He says 10:00. I said, "Okay, so the last bus back to Lanikai, where I live." Even though I live in Kailua, the area is called Lanikai. So it's kind of like...
Because you're right on Lanikai Beach, right?
Yeah, I'm right on Lanikai Beach. So it's like a separate area, but still falls under Kailua. So he's like, "Oh, you want to go back to Lanikai?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, this is the last stop. You're on it. This goes back to Lanikai." So I'm like, "Oh, well, then I guess I'm not getting off." So I sit back down and the dude is like, "This girl's a moron." Well, then he says, as he pulls up to another stop, he goes, "You can do Uber here." I said, "Oh, okay." I wasn't sure because it's such a small town. A lot of times if you're in a small town like that, you're not going to be able to get an Uber. So he's like, "Yeah, it's big here because tourists." I was like, "All right, well, I'm going to jump off then and ride an Uber." He's like, "Okay."
RC used to or still does Uber.
He does, right? But he's far away.
Okay.
He's not it's not like he's close to me. I think that he's probably, I know Nikki's 15 minutes and I think Nikki said that he's 15 minutes from her. So anyway, I jump off, find a restaurant, go in there. And in the meantime, now I've texted Nikki because I'm like, "Hey, have you eaten at this place?" I'm trying to eat somewhere good. So she tells me, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I hope I can make it through and have enough battery to get an Uber because my phone's about to die. I didn't think this through." So I said, "I'm going to write your number down." I got a pin from the server and I wrote your number down and Lonnie's number down in case my phone dies and I can use somebody else's phone to call you guys. So I said, "So if you get a random number, texting to say, 'Please come get me,' it's going to be me or a call, whatever." So she's like, "Okay." So I eat. I've got 5% battery left at this point. I'm not using my phone at all. My phone is just sitting there for the most part. And I finally get enough, or I finish at, I have enough. I Uber the guy. I see where I'm supposed to be. And at that point, Nikki texted and said, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yep, I just got an Uber." And then my phone dies. So I know where I'm supposed to stand. And as I was trying to memorize the license plate, the phone died. So I knew the first 3 numbers of the license plate. So I go stand where I'm supposed to be. The guy pulls up. So I get on the Uber. I go back go home, get home, everything's fine. The next day, I decide I'm going to go to the bus stop. Oh, so the bus driver where he tells me that I could get, he's like, make sure you pick up a card while you're in town tonight. Well, I was so stressed out about my phone dying and everything else. Am I going to be able to get home? Will I have an Uber? I forgot to get a card. So the next day, I get on the bus and I'm like,
oh,
hey,
no.
So
same bus driver.
Same bus driver. I'm like, hey, so you picked me up last night and I didn't get a card. And he just is staring at me like, you're an idiot. And I was like, because my phone was going to die and I was super stressed out and I forgot. So he's like, okay, you can get on. So he lets me on again. He's like,
just tell him, hey, the check's in the mail. I promise.
So he says, the stop I'm going to drop you off at, that's the grocery store that you need to go in and get your card. So I'm like, okay, got it. So he drops me. I go in, I get my card. Well, then I decide I'm going to. So first of all, as I stood in the rain, this is the thing. I stood waiting for the bus stop. It starts to rain. So I try to like stand underneath a big tree because the bus is supposed to have been there. So I'm standing there forever. The bus is 40 minutes late. So I'm like, this must be like, they must run their bus line on like Hawaii time, like the check's in the mail. Like, we're on the way. We'll be there. So 40 minutes late, get to where I'm going. Then I went in town just to have a beer, basically. Like, I wanted to go in and try a place out, whatever. The bus is supposed to be there a certain time. I get there thinking I had plenty of time. I get there with 5 minutes to spare because I had to stop in Whole Foods and stuff on the way back to grab some fruit. Of course, the bus came early. And I'm like, how do you come early if you're 40 minutes late to pick me up?
Yeah.
So I'm standing, and it was the last bus to Lanikai. So I'm standing there.
Last bus out, huh?
Yeah, I'm standing there and I'm like, of course. So then and it starts to rain again. So I'm standing in the rain trying to figure out like, what am I going to do? I see the bus on the other side of the street. So it's like goes up on this side of the street and then it comes back.
And then he's going back.
He's going back. So I have my Birkenstock sandals on. It's raining.
Oh, no.
And I take off running for this bus. And I'm like, wait! Like, I cut in front of cars. I didn't even, like, they're really big on, like, you need to use the pedestrian crosswalks here. They have, like, buttons you push to warn traffic that you're a pedestrian crossing the street. I just dashed in traffic.
Gosh.
I'm yelling, wait! It's, like, pouring rain. He stops in the middle. He sees me. Luckily, it's the same bus driver who thinks I'm a moron. So he stops in the middle of the street.
He does think you're a moron.
He does. And he's like, hurry, come on, get on. So he stops in the middle of traffic, lets me on the bus. Of course, is like, hurry up, just go sit down. Doesn't charge me again. I'm like,
but you didn't
really.
Did I miss that you didn't have the card?
No, I did. I went and bought the card.
But he doesn't charge you. Okay.
But he didn't charge me because I had to chase the bus down in my Birkenstocks through traffic. Caught him. He lets me on and says sit down. So then yesterday morning, I was like, I need to go to the grocery store. I'm going to go early. So I got on. Of course, it's a different bus driver, but I was still proud. I had my card. I scanned it. Well, then then I got back, same bus driver as before. Well, then I went back into town last night because again, I haven't cooked at all anything. So then I was like, well, I'll just run into town real fast. So I got on like the 5 o'clock bus and it was that bus driver. I was like, look, I have my card. He was like, oh, good job, you idiot. But anyway,
Yeah.
So I've kind of figured out how the bus system works. It's either going to be like 5 minutes early or 40 minutes late. It seems like there's no in between because that's the way it was every day that I've ridden.
You gotta get something nice for this bus driver.
I know. He was a nice guy. I thought about
gotta get him some spam. I bet you if you brought him a Costco size spam, he'd love it.
But my thought was, now that I could figure out this bus system and I've got my card and I can load it, I think that I'm going to do that and get like an electric bike. And on my electric bike, I'm going to put a surf rack, like a surfboard rack, because I didn't know that you did that.
Okay.
But I saw a guy with a rack, because it's like you're pedaling, right? Where your pedals are, the rack sticks out from the side. So I thought it was like for him to hang his bike. I was like, that's weird. I've never seen that. But I thought, well, maybe on the bus system, they have like where you hang it or something.
Right.
And then I saw, when I was on Marketplace looking for furniture and stuff, I saw somebody who was selling a bike and I saw that on there. So I was reading to see what it was. And they were like, I can remove the surfboard rack if, you don't want it, blah, blah. I was like, oh, that's what that is. So now I'm like, shoot, I can put my surfboard on there, get my little electric bike, ride through town, get on the bus. But I think I probably will sell my car because there's nowhere to drive fast. And it's a nice car. and there's really nowhere to park. So I think if I sell it, I might either just get nothing or get something like, I don't know, they have a lot of VW buses over here that I thought, oh, that'd be fun. Like get a nice VW bus because they have a bunch that are for sale that are like renovated. I could do that. Get one and put my little surfboard on there, my paddleboard. I'm going to buy a paddleboard. So yeah, I'm thinking that I'll probably not keep Charlie for very long, which I can't believe I'm saying that, but there's just nowhere to drive fast over here. Speed limit's like 50, 55 everywhere. There's no open roads.
There's no Buc-ee's.
Yeah, there's no real point in having a fast car. So anyway, that's kind of the plan.
That's kind of the plan. Okay, so you're gonna ride the bus, take some Ubers, and have an electric bike.
That's the plan.
That sounds like a good idea, but you probably can't. I mean, would you still serve papers over there? You talked about potentially wanting to do that. You could do it on the bus. I don't know.
Do it on the bus or on my bike.
Take your bike.
Unless I get my little beater. If I get my little beater car, then I will. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, I say all this now, not having my car here and not having driven her in a couple weeks. And it might be very different when I get her. And then I'll be like, oh, I forgot how much I love her and blah, blah, blah. But, the one thing I loved about her is you could go super fast. Yeah. And here it's like, you can't go super fast. And then traffic is so terrible sometimes that it would be a pain to have a manual in this traffic. That would be, here.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I could see that. Well, Holly, there's a couple things we're going to talk about next time.
Okay.
Number one, I want to hear all about your landlord.
Yeah.
Because she seems like a fun lady.
She's a nice lady. I like her.
And there's a couple other things you're doing out there, and we'll talk about. But in closing, I wanted to talk about something I sent you last week, and we forgot to talk about it last episode. And that is that I don't like watching football with other people, like other than my kids or my family. Like I don't mind my family, but
yeah, because I was a little offended when you said that.
Well, we've watched football together for so long, but we have like a group me going. But even then, sometimes I'm like, not sometimes, I mute the group me. I'll be honest with you. Like,
oh, I can't all of my group me's are muted.
I can't handle it because it used to just be, here and there we'd talk about the game during the game. Now it's every play is talked about. And so I can't, like, when I say I can't watch football with other people, so football for me is I go upstairs, I got my kids, we're all decked out in our 49ers gear, we're watching the game. They watch the whole game with me. Lexi is now kind of getting to this point where she's like, I'll watch it, but she's not into it. Ava is a rock star football watcher. Ava, Jared, and Jace, like rock star football watchers. Lexi occasionally. But, sometimes she's just like, I'm going to go bake brownies, okay.
You're like, all right, make one for me.
People will ask, like, they're like, hey, Scott, you want to come over and watch the game? And I'm like, no. And there's a few reasons why. Number one, okay, so I've been like calling penalties since I was like 7, right?
Right.
Like I know the rules of the game for the most part.
Right.
I watch the game and I watch like the play and I watch, I'm not like I love to watch the play happen and whatever, but I also like to watch like the intricacies of the play. And I like to watch, like, it's kind of weird. And I don't ever talk about this. It's just what's going on in my head, especially now being a referee. I see the game a little bit differently. And then you're at this place and some people just don't know the game of football. And so you're watching it. And one thing I can't stand is people who, especially like dudes who I'm watching the game with, and they're like, oh my gosh, I wish they'd quit running right up the middle. And I'm like, oh my, that's like one of my biggest like things that I hate to hear, because I understand the reason behind running up the middle. And they're like, I'm like, okay, grandma, like, I understand he caught the kickoff and he ran right into the pile of people, but what they're not seeing is the rest of the like field where the people are all converging. The guy has the ball. They're all coming to him. It's not like, he's looked and he's like, where's the biggest pile of people? I'm going to run right to it. No, it's just, they all converge. It just happened. You don't see anyway. So it just drives me bonkers. Like to listen to people's commentary during the game. Like even a buddy of mine during the Niners Eagles game, like, I wish the refs would call the game the same way. Like it's frustrating because, one of the receivers for the Niners caught the ball and the ball moved a little bit when he hit the ground, but he didn't I know the rule. His hand was underneath. The ball didn't cause him to the ground didn't cause him to catch it. He already caught it. The ball moved a little bit. It's okay now. And he just like, that's not the rule. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that is the rule. Like, so I looked up the rule and I screenshot it, and we're just having a text conversation. I screenshot him the rule. Like, here's the rule. Like I'm sorry you don't understand the rule, but I just can't. I just can't watch football, whether it's the 49ers or anybody. I just can't do it. And so Lexi just texted me and she's like, Dad, can we invite her boyfriend is Tyler? Can we invite Tyler's family over for the Packers-Niners game? Because they're Packers fans.
They're Packers fans.
They're Packers fans. She's like, can we invite him over? It's a Saturday.
No, you go over there.
And I just am like, well, first of all, sweetheart, is what I said to her. A lot of people, they like to, if they drink alcohol, they like to drink alcohol during the game. They like to have a beer. I said, right. And at our house, like we don't allow alcohol into our house. And I was like, so I don't want to offer them to come over and like, hey, but there's no alcohol allowed. I don't want to put that onto somebody. Right. And so she's like, no, he said they don't drink alcohol during the game. And then I'm just like, but I don't like
you just need to tell her
football
to go
with other people. I'm like, I just don't like watching football for the other people. I don't like it because I know that they want to be together and they want to see each other. But he wants to watch the game probably with his family, and I want to, she wants to watch it with her family.
Send her over there. She doesn't watch football with you guys enough anyway.
Nah, we'll see. But I said, we'll see. We'll talk about it. But I just I've watched football with a few of my friends, and I just can't. It's because people don't know the rules and they don't know how. Time. Okay.
Do you enjoy watching football with Sean?
We don't really watch football all that often.
When you
Sean Ratliff
in the past, yeah.
I don't remember. It's been so long. It's been so long
Sean,
since we've watched.
I need you to come in for the football game and see if Scott enjoys it with you.
I probably would enjoy it with Sean. I probably would because I know Sean knows the game.
Sean would be like, "How come he runs up the middle?"
Sean knows the game. Sean would never say, "Why does he keep running up the middle like that?"
Sean,
I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, that drives me nuts." Okay.
Challenge Sean. How many times can you say that reasonably during a game? And I want you to watch it. He's gonna
freaking text me all game. Like, they ran up the middle again. There they go. I know he's gonna do it.
I know. That's why I told him to do it.
It just drives me like that. Like just little things like that. Like, why did they do that? And I can't explain it because I don't want to explain it because you're a dude and you should know the rules of freaking football and how it's played and why they play it that way. Not just because you're a dude. Like, I will give some grace to the ladies who don't have a chance to play football. Like,
gotcha.
And not every dude played football. I understand. But don't come at me like Macho Man freaking Randy Savage and being like,
say Randy Savage
and being like, I know football. And then you say, I wish they'd quit running up the middle. Like, I got it. Every play is designed to make yards, but not everybody blocks the right way. Like, oh man, it just drives me bonkers. So that's why I said, I don't like watching football. Like, I don't mind watching football with you because sometimes you make those comments, but we've been watching football together for so long that I just kind of in one ear out the other and let the kids talk with you about it. But there's a lot of comments, and it's not just that comment.
I feel
there's a lot of comments that are made, and I'm like,
I don't make a lot of comments.
No, you don't. You don't.
Football.
No, you don't.
However,
there are others. There's a reason I will. Oh shoot!
I
am blocking you during the game, and I'm blocking Group Me.
I won't actually, because let's be honest. What day is the game?
Saturday.
I'll be at the beach all day. I'll just track the score. That's what I did this weekend.
So anyways.
Every day is a beach day. That's why my house is still not unpacked yet. That's why I haven't done a lot of things I'm supposed to do.
That is my rant on watching football. So I don't know if other people feel that way. Or if I'm like
a crazy person.
Crazy person about it. But
I don't think that I probably really enjoy watching football with other people either. Like, I've been watching the Texans games because my landlord's grandson plays for the Texans, and so she invites me to the games to watch. And
which you're lucky they're 2-0.
Yes, I know.
And they almost lost.
They almost did. They were trying very hard to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, man.
And it was a missed extra point, and they almost lost. I just can't imagine. But anyways,
But it's just hard because everybody's also like, it's super stressful for my landlord to watch the game, so it's not super enjoyable to watch. So she has 2 TVs. She has like one outside and one inside. And so now I've realized that when the game is on live, I need to be in the opposite room of her because if anybody even says a word,
it's over.
Like, yeah, because like she's stressed out. So I get it.
It's kind of like, okay. So watching, and I texted you this too, watching football with other people, like that I don't normally watch football with, not my family, somebody I've grown up with watching, is like playing a board game with everybody having different house rules. Like I can't do it.
Right.
Like if you come to me and you say, we're going to play this game, but your house rules are different than my house rules. Like, but we don't specify that, but then we start playing by your house rules, but not my house rules. I'm like, I'm out. Like, I'm not going to play games with you anymore. Like I can't do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I get it. It's hard though. I don't really even watch a lot of football. I like watch it if my teams are playing. So if the Aggies are playing, Niners are playing.
Do they even play anymore? Aggies?
Let's not even talk about that. They've been having a rough time.
I would love to be Jimbo Fisher, man. Get fired and still make $110 million or whatever.
Guaranteed, you morons. Oh, I just need to be a mediocre coach somewhere. That's
get a guaranteed contract
the best way I can. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe him. He wasn't even great, and I get that he had all those. It's like Belichick. At one point, Belichick was really good. Now I would describe him as mediocre. But how many teams are going to line up to get him? Cowboys first in line.
Was Belichick good?
Coach.
Take out Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Truth.
They got Tom Brady, and he's average.
Truth.
Or below average.
Well, that's the point.
I mean, freaking him and Nick Saban. He was the head coach, and Nick Saban was the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns, and they stunk.
And look how much money that both of them will probably get paid to be picked up somewhere.
Well, Nick Saban retired. Well, Belichick.
So he says. Bruce Bochy retired, and then he went back and won a World Series.
I guess.
Dusty Baker's coming back to home too. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Back to the Niners.
I didn't read the article.
The Giants.
I just saw you texted me that. So yeah, I just can't. That was the reason.
You'll have to let me know what you end up telling Lex about the game.
I got to figure it. I got to decide whether I want somebody in my space while I'm watching the football game. Not only that, what if the Packers win? And now I have these people in my house. The Packers fans. I'm like, out, get out of my house.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I would say no to the Max and tell her sorry. Sorry, Charlie.
We'll see.
You'll cave. It's for your kid. You'll cave.
I don't know.
You'll go watch football in another room by yourself. Let them all talk and hang out.
Hey, I will. I'll let them all be there, and I will go watch in my room. Actually, I won't even watch in my room because Val will kick me out of my room. She's going to be like, no, I'm watching Married at First Sight. Get out of here. So here I am on my phone in the corner. But
there you go. Anyways,
hopefully next episode, Holly, we will be celebrating 49ers heading to the NFC Championship game. I'm going to manifest it now. We're going to have a good game. We're going to win. We're going to win big. So
blow them out.
Well, Holly, enjoy taking the bus. Enjoy running, chasing the bus. I love that bus driver. He sounds like a nice dude. Picked you up while it was raining.
Like, he could, and the look every time he gets on now, it's just like he's just got this permanent smirk. Like, oh, it's this idiot again. But he was nice, man. Literally stops in the middle of traffic.
That's funny. Take him something good. Take him something nice. Find out what do Hawaiians like that you could take them. Spam and
figure it out.
Pineapple soda.
There you go.
Spam and pineapple soda. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining in, and we will see you next time. Take care.
Aloha.
Hey, what's up, my channel? Please hit the drop a like and hit the subscribe button. Looking for my first subscriber. Can't subscribe myself. Can't do that for some reason. I don't know why. Wish you could.